if you're working on something within yourself, within your life that doesn't feel good, that you really want to transmute into something that is strong, empowering, and that serves you, to do it with love, compassion, and respect, you are going to create a much more effective and powerful experience in that process for yourself. I don't believe you can do it by judging yourself and being an asshole to yourself. In fact, all that's going to do is create a deeper separation between you and you. You will become more fragmented. You will move further away from the center of your being, from the wholeness that you are. This is The Roxanne Show. Get ready. It's time to rise. Welcome back to another episode of The Roxanne Show. I'm excited about today's solo-sode because every now and then this happens where I have a set idea for an episode, it's ready to go, and then something comes in, as in I download another idea, topic, concept, and completely intercepts the original idea. So today's episode is an interception, and this is a really special one. I often talk about, if you have not heard me say this yet, I have a whole morning ritual, and a lot of times it's within that window of sacred time with myself where I download a lot of my writing that I share, a lot of these ideas, like right now, the podcast that I'm about to share with you, really important wisdoms, thought seeds, reflections, ideas that not only serve me in my life, but end up becoming the content that I share, through all of my channels. And today, what came through is called the self-bond. So it's a piece of prose that I wrote that I'm going to tease out. And, self-bond is something that I have infused into a lot of my writing already. I've spoken about this concept in many different episodes, but this particular piece is so specific about what the self-bond means from my perspective. I really love the word too, self-bond. It came to me a while back, and yeah, it's really beautiful. So I'm going to read you this, and then I'm going to tease it out. Really quick though, if you have not already subscribed to this podcast, if you're watching it on YouTube, please click the subscribe button. And if you're not watching it and you're listening and you haven't subscribed either, go ahead and do that. Okay, the self-bond. A container within you forged with absolute self-awareness, self-acknowledgement, self-devotion, self-honesty, self-confidence, self-love, self-respect, self-ownership, and unbreakable self-trust. It's the synthesis of your soul self and your human self consciously partnered and creating together. It's not to be confused for self-absorption. The humility that lives within this bond is pure, radiant, and allows curiosity for continued growth to lead you into the wellspring of wisdom. The self-bond is fused with self-intimacy. It's embracing the sacredness that you are. Your authentic self is seated at the center of this bond. Honor that truth that lives in your center. Your center is where your heart is seen, heard, and felt. It's your lighthouse, your anchor, your North Star. Your heart is the maestro, orchestrating the symphony your self-bond expresses from essence to action. Listen closely, trust yourself with no limits. Nourish your self-bond with devotion. Cherish the intimacy between you and you. This is a soul assignment. This is where you know what loving yourself with no barriers actually feels like. This is how you navigate uncertainty with inspiration versus fear. This is how you crack the code to never feel alone, because you aren't. You are eternally with you. You are eternally with you. I think it's really easy to forget that there is a you within you. And I often say in my life that there is no I in here. There is a we. And that we is the result of the bond, the self bond that I have forged with myself. So I really believe we have this soul self and we have this human self. And when we, like in the prose, can forge this union, this synthesis between soul self and human self consciously, we are then truly in a very sacred and intimate relationship with ourself that allows us to expand and to strengthen all of these attributes that I mentioned, like self-love, self-awareness, self-honesty, self-respect, self-ownership, self-trust. This really, really is, I believe it's the first assignment that we all have, the most important assignment. You know, it's if you believe that my quote, inner shapes the outer. So your inner reality, your inner experience, your inner world is shaping, influencing, impacting your external experience, reality, and world. Then you have to think, well, what is this relationship within me that I hold with myself? Like, what does it consist of? What does it feel like? You know, how am I moving with myself on a day-to-day basis? Ideally, you want to be moving in partnership with yourself. When you truly start to move in partnership with yourself, it's this statement of, you got you. You know, you're with you every step of the way. Challenges on the road, which are all, you know, it's inevitable. All right. Well, you're not doing the challenge alone. You're doing it with you. You got your back. You know, through the highs and the hards, you know, you're cheering yourself on. When shit feels really good, you're celebrating with yourself. And when shit gets really hard, you're embracing yourself with compassion, with encouragement. And this is, to me, I mean, what could be more powerful than that? And it really is this inside job, like to forge this self bond. It takes the investment every single day, an investment every single day to nourish it, to strengthen it, to connect with it more, it being the self bond, right? This relationship between you and you. It has to be a consistent experience for you. If you think about how you develop a loving, trusted, revered relationship with anybody, how do you do that? You have to be willing to invest the whole of you, right? Here, that's a perfect plug for one of our new shirts. This is a piece of prose on the back. You'll see the full statement, but on the front, the whole damn thing. It's the whole of you. You want the whole of you in every experience. And the whole of you is that soul self and that human self forged in this union. And then you are conscious, you know, you're consciously creating your life together with you, right? I often talk about my muse, my highest self, also my future self. You can call her my vision self. I mean, I just call her my muse. It's really simple, and it's a really perfect way. In fact, this morning when I downloaded that piece of prose I just read to you, it was time with my muse. So it was like she's communicating through me, which now I'm sharing with you. And I don't believe I'm special in having this relationship. I do believe, I know for certain, it's the result of all of the time that I have spent with myself. Emphasis on with, right? I'm never by myself. I'm with myself. And I might have an unfair advantage in this particular area because I am more introverted. I need time just with me. And here's the reason for me personally. It's because I have a relationship with myself. So it's almost like, you think about, you want to go spend time with your loved one, your partner, okay? You want to carve out this quality time where, you're not looking at your phone. There's no interruptions. You're just very present with your partner. Well, that's how I feel about time with me. And my goal with this episode, with all of my work, is to get you, if you are not already in that place, to be able to recognize, to value, and to prioritize that same quality time with you, because it does matter. And it doesn't have to, be this routine where it's like every day it's this, that. No, it could be, whatever it needs to be in every day, but every day it needs to be something, right? So let me say that again. It could be whatever it needs to be, but every day it needs to be something. Maybe today it's 5 minutes for you. Maybe tomorrow it's 2 hours for you. It just depends on what you're able to give to yourself. But the main thing here is that it must be a priority. It must be a priority because you are a priority. And I'm taking this concept way beyond this usual kind of statement of self-love. It's time for you. I know it sounds the same, but hopefully you can feel, and I'm going to go back to the piece that I wrote to put emphasis on the depth of what I'm actually sharing with you, that it's not just going through the motions of, oh, I did my self-care. No, this is not just self-care. This is self-connection. Connection. You are literally on a date with yourself. And the goal is to anchor yourself in your center. Now, look, I also realize that there's a lot of you out there who are maybe having a really hard time going inside, being with yourself, for who knows how many reasons out there it could be, wherever you are, whatever season in your life, whatever trauma you might be moving through, hardship, all of it. And there's no way I can address every single example of what that might be. However, I do know that regardless of, and I say that with love, respect, and empathy, not to kind of, make it smaller, but regardless of whatever it is, the goal is still to move past that, through it, as appropriately for you that you can, and get to this piece that I'm sharing with you, to get into your center, to anchor yourself into your heart, where that fusion between soul self and human self can be felt, can be fortified, will be fortified, where the whole of your being is actually strengthened and embodied. You don't want to be a fragmented human. You didn't come here for that. You came here for the whole fucking damn thing that is you, the whole experience that is you. So this self-bond is essential. It's an essential component to you experiencing the whole experience that you are. Because, by the way, you are an experience. I'm an experience. You're an experience. I'm not just Roxy. Roxanne, Roxy, I'm a fucking experience. I'm giving you an experience right now. You give everybody an experience that you come across, that you connect with in your life, right? I think when we can take time to really sit with that concept, acknowledge it, and let it marinate, you'll feel the truth in it. And it may not only empower you, but allow for more self-accountability, right? Because you being an experience to the world outside of you, well, what is that experience? How do you leave people feeling? How do you feel in your own self, in the experience that you are? My goal, again, my mission, part of my mission, is for the experience that you are, that you feel within yourself, to be so fucking whole, to be filled with absolute harmony, to feel so rock solid in who you authentically are, that is the only expression that you show up to your life with. Because within that authentic self-expression is where you actually position yourself to create your unique fulfillment in life. Not society's idea of what your life should be or needs to be successful. Not what anybody, not even your fucking loved ones, all due respect, again. But you did come here with your own assignments. I believe that. We all did. I'm living my dharma. I am rooted in my soul's purpose. I fucking know. Part of what's so easy for me to know this to be a truth is because I am always literally 24/7, 365 fucking honest with myself. If anything ever feels off to me where I'm not centered, then I know there's some kind of adjustment that needs to be made. And from my current state of life, like the dominant feeling, I'm rooted. I'm in it. My mission is clear. I'm in it every day, and I'm with it with myself, the whole of my being, in partnership with myself. Challenges fucking show up. Of course they do. If you don't know me by now, how I feel about challenges, you stick around, you'll get to know it, and hopefully it will make a difference in your psychology as well if it's not already there. But challenges for me are a fucking opportunity. Every single one of them, every single time. And this is a really important piece. Not just an opportunity for growth, that's usually how I address it. It is that. It's an opportunity for you to get closer to who you truly are. Everything comes down to self, capital S-E-L-F. When I write self, it's capital S 90% of the time. Sometimes I get a little lazy with it. But the point being is that self is its own very specific entity within your being, right? And I think it's really important that we really start to connect with that concept, because it does help you not only to forge the self-bond that I'm actively trying to sell to you right now and in all of my work, but it helps you to understand, it allows for more conscious presence of yourself. So it really turns on your self-awareness that there is this self within you. I want to read another line in here that I really love. I mean, it's so fun when I download my writing. It's really this, my mind and heart working as a team that I'm able to pull from my spirit self, my soul self, my subconscious, all of the above. Because when I'm writing, I'm not thinking, I'm just in flow. Like when this stuff comes through me, I'm going to get back to the line that I want to share, but I have to insert this now. There's 2 books I'm writing right now. So exciting. And I decided, I got the call internally that one book has to come actually before the other. And good time to insert this. In the show notes, there is a link to join my book launch. It's a book launch page where I'm doing an exclusive workshop on the principles of this book that will be out this fall. I'm so excited about this. This has been a long time coming. And I hope that you go and you sign up because this workshop will be so, so special. We'll go through the principles of the essays that I write in this book, and there'll be a Q&A opportunity so we can really connect and I can answer any questions that you have, whether it's regarding, what we discuss in the workshop or anything else, just for us to connect. So definitely check it out. It's YouTube. It's, in the show notes on Apple, Spotify. It's there. It's also on my website, ROXANNESAFFAIE.com. So just want to infuse that really quick because so much, this piece right here actually is going into the book as well. This piece that I just read to you. The self-bond concept is a big part of this book that I'm writing. So I'll get to this line because I can go on and on. It's very exciting when, as a lifelong writer, this is the first authored book that's coming out of me. It's so fucking different. I'm on a tangent right now. I don't care. Maybe you're a writer out there and you need to hear this. Some people write books because it validates them in their business, makes them feel, it's like more authority in their space. That's cool. I'm writing my books because I am a writer. Like it's literally woven into me. And normally I'd keep a separation between something that you do and your self-identity. But because I have been writing for literally the majority of my life, like as far back as I can remember as a kid, I used to I remember grabbing pens and papers in the grocery line just because something's coming through and I got to fucking write it, right? It's different for me writing books now because I'm not doing it to validate. I don't need to validate myself as a writer. I've been writing my whole life, It's just knowing that this is part of what I'm here to do in this life, what I'm here to share. This is truly a gift that I do possess that has filled me up for all my life, and to be in a place now where I can share it specifically in the book format for all of you, it fills my fucking heart up. It fills my heart up. So yeah, I'm excited. Check out that link. Sign up. Okay. This piece right here. The self-bond is fused with self-intimacy. It's embracing the sacredness that you are. Self-intimacy. How sexy is that? I mean, I know when we hear the word intimate, you can think of a lot of things. Of course, the bedroom can come up in your mind, but intimacy is really, really, that word is just so sacred to me. And when you think about creating self-intimacy, like how deep can you go with yourself? Loving, accepting, embracing all the fucking parts that you are. Even the parts that don't feel good. Maybe there's an insecurity and you're like, I don't like that. That's okay. You don't want to just shove it away because that won't even work. The first step is acknowledgement. Maybe you ask yourself how you even got there. And you don't necessarily have to have an answer, but maybe the answer does come. It's more about this idea of just embracing the prism that makes you you, right? You are not one-dimensional. There are so many facets to your being. And again, some maybe are radiant, some are, you're proud of, some you love. And there might be some others that are a little murky or, shadow parts of yourself and, parts that don't really feel good. But everything is, every part of your being, nothing is fixed, right? So it's kind of like the vision that comes to my mind it's really beautiful. It's like at the pottery wheel. I used to love ceramics class. It's like, do they even have that anymore in high school? I don't even fucking know. It's so long for me. But, you have this piece of clay and your hands are in it. And it's, the wheel is spinning and a little bit over here with your hand, a little touch over here, and it just starts manipulating and changing. And so if you think about these aspects of yourself that maybe don't feel great, that you would like to edit, transmute, work on, understand that you can. Nothing is fixed. Nothing. And what a beautiful truth that actually is. We have the ability to create, to manipulate any parts of our being that we want to. When you are doing it in partnership with yourself versus judging yourself, feeling a separation, a disconnect of yourself, the whole experience is just different for you. If there's something that maybe you don't feel worthy in a certain category of your life, but you really want to expand on your worthiness, you want to fortify your worthiness, you want to, pivot, remove, transmute that fragmented worthiness that you're currently holding within yourself, you're going to go a lot farther in that process if you're doing it with you being on your team. You're not criticizing yourself. You're not putting yourself down. No, you're holding this intimacy with yourself. Imagine if you had there's something you want to work on in your partnership. It's just an easy comparison. In your partnership, your romantic partnership, there's something between you and your partner that isn't doing well for you guys, but you're talking about it, and you're talking about it with love, with compassion, even though it hurts and it's hard. But that love and compassion, this is so important. I hope you really listen to this and rewind it if you need to. When you can have that conversation about that hard thing between you and your partner with love and compassion, ultimately what you're doing is you're upholding fucking respect. And love and respect, they go hand in hand. They are adjacent. They're not even adjacent. They're like synthesized with each other. I know that in my love life, even the relationships that, ended, right, that are behind me, romantic relationships, some of those relationships are still, some of the most important fucking humans in my life, where the love is so robust. It didn't stop. The love didn't stop. The romantic part did, but the love didn't stop because the respect was always there and still is. So respect holds love together. Now let's turn that back to you in the self bond. If you're working on something within yourself, within your life, that doesn't feel good, that you really want to transmute into something that is strong, empowering, and that serves you, to do it with love, compassion, and respect, you are going to create a much more effective and powerful experience in that process for yourself. I don't believe you can do it by judging yourself and being an asshole to yourself. In fact, all that's going to do is create a deeper separation between you and you. You will become more fragmented. You will move further away from the center of your being, from the wholeness that you are. So this self-intimacy that I'm speaking about isn't contingent on only what feels good about yourself and the parts of you that you love. It is respecting that you're a human and there are going to be parts of you for several reasons that aren't hitting high notes, and that's okay, because that's part of what you're here to experience. You're not here to live in that shit that doesn't feel good. You're here to work through it, to experience yourself working through it, to make those shifts, and to come out on the other fucking side, which is the best feeling. Again, to do it in partnership with yourself. That's That's the pro shit. That's professional. Amateur is the being a victim of yourself, criticizing yourself, the mental bullying. And even if you're there right now, don't, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the amateur part. I say this, listen, I say it because I've been there. I have insecure moments. I have parts where sometimes shit comes up and I'm like, oh, damn. But because I have this unbreakable relationship with myself, where the human self and the soul self are fused, this relationship that I've forged with myself is so fucking strong that even when those moments come in, maybe there's an amateur moment coming in, right? Turning it on me. I don't allow it to become a part of me. I have the ability to witness it. That's so important. And that's where, at the top of the prose, I talked about leading the list of attributes was absolute self-awareness. You want to be able to catch these moments. Do you know how you catch them? When you have this self-bond, at least when it starts to become, you start to feel this self-bond that I'm talking about, because it becomes so, it stands out when you start to experience that sort of amateur expression of yourself, the self-bullying, any and all of that coming in, because your baseline state isn't that. It's this connected, loving, respected, harmonized relationship that you have with yourself. Your self-talk is really powerful. You really feel the encouragement between you and you. See what I'm saying? So when you do have those moments where the asshole is coming out, for whatever reason, something happened, now a narrative is running through your mind and you're getting insecure or whatever it is, it stands out and it gets louder and louder and louder because the self-bond, as that gets stronger and stronger and stronger, it's fucking off-putting, which is amazing. You want that. You want it to be so unusual to hear yourself bullying and that shit talk or feel those feelings. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, there's so many people walking around that aren't even aware that that is their MO. That's their mode of operation. They can't hear the negativity, those amateur states of expressions, with yourself, because it's so the norm for them. We don't want that. I don't want that for you. And as you work on this self-bond, it starts to work all that shit out for you to the point where, I don't know if you ever completely are removed from it. I think that as we continue to journey through life, we're going to face new experiences that might conjure up some of those insecure, those moments, those experiences within our world that just don't feel good. However, we are locked and loaded. We are armed with everything that we need to move through those moments and not allow those experiences, those feelings, those thoughts, those narratives, to become integrated in our self-identity. That's fucking huge. You do not want any of that integrated into your self-identity. You can have the experience of it, but that's very different than it integrating into your self-identity. Because when it does that, now you have a lot of deeper work to fucking do to get it out. And you still can. Remember, pot of clay, right? Piece of clay on the wheel. But ideally, ideally your self-bond is activated. It's being forged. It keeps your self-awareness switched on such to that when that shit starts to come into play, you catch it. And when you catch it, you're not mean to yourself. You're curious. You're like, okay. Just recently there was an experience where I felt something and I was having an insecure script go through my mind. And I was like, I understand why you would feel that way. I understand why that could be a storyline running through your mind. But is it the truth? This is how I talk to myself. And the answer was no. And it was a real fucking no. Because when I asked myself, is this the truth? The truth in me knows. The truth in me tells me. The truth in you knows. The truth in you always fucking knows. But do you know how to ask yourself those questions? Do you know how to get so intimate with yourself where that self-honesty is so robust that when you ask yourself that question, is this a truth, that you actually can get a real answer? That is my goal for you, because you do have the ability to get there if you're not already. You absolutely do. The truth in you knows. I'm ending this on that. Because side note, totally sharing this right now. That is the name of the book that I'm writing right now that releases this year. The truth in you knows. I hope this episode feels more like, what would you call this? I don't even know. A meditation, perhaps, or something. I hope whatever you frame it as, it really moved into your mind and your heart in a way where resonance took place. And if you are not already in this place where you are forging this self-bond that I just teased out for you, that I will continue to talk about because it's, at the center of my work, that you start to really think about that process of how you can forge this relationship with yourself. It's the most important relationship. I always say you're in you until you're out of here. It's the one thing that we know for sure. The one thing that we all know for fucking sure is that you are in you until you're out of here. I'm in me until I'm out of here. So it's a really fucking good idea to get into the self-bond that I just shared with you in this episode. Please let me know what you think. I love hearing from you. You can DM me, Roxy Look. Conversation carries there. If you are a woman in my community listening or watching this and you would like to join my exclusive community for women, Queendom, which is where also the conversation on the podcast episodes continue. There is a link to join. It is a free community. I do a live monthly call for my members in Queendom, which is so much fucking fun. So much fun. So I'd love to have you there. That's in the show notes again. And again, I'm going to just plug this, that I'm so excited. And I know so many of you are so supportive about, my books coming out, because it's just been a long time coming. So if you would like to be a part of the early book launch exclusive workshop that I'm going to be hosting, go ahead and enter your information in that link in the show notes. And once again, subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. And last but not least, if you haven't already given this podcast a 5-star rating review, it would mean the world to me and my team if you just took a moment to do it. Thank you so much. Remember the goal, the whole damn thing, not fragmented. You want the whole damn thing that is you. I'll catch you on the next one. Queen, this is your call to greatness. If you are ready, and I mean truly ready, to shift anything in your outer experience, your outer reality, your finances, your health, your relationship, anything career related, anything spiritual, any shift that you want to make that has to do with your reality has to first start with shifting who you are, your self-identity. My Future Self digital course is your supportive blueprint that helps you achieve this. The inner shapes the outer. So when you get crystal clear on your core beliefs, your core values, your core desires, your high, hard goals, when you learn how to rewrite parts of your past that maybe don't feel so great and instead leverage those experiences to be fuel for you to expand and to grow. This is how you start to change the game behind the game of life, which all starts and ends with you. I've designed this course from my heart, soul, and experience to be a femininely fierce experience for you to uncover and connect with your most authentic self. And as a Future Self student, you get 3 months free membership access to Queendom. This is where we really get to connect. Queendom is such a rad, sacred, empowered space where every month you get a live Q&A call with me so we can connect and troubleshoot any area of your life that you would like, or just get some encouragement from me as well as the other queens in the community. This is a really sacred space, and I will see you in Queendom.